I love that song. Some of you record nerds might recognize that as Glenn Frey from the Eagles fame. He was one of the founders of the Eagles, along with Don Henley, who is a Texan. And he wrote that song when the Eagles broke up for 14 years or so, and he went out on a solo career, and so did Don Henley. And that song was also featured, as you might know, in Beverly Hills Cop, which is still one of my faves. Eddie Murphy playing a undercover cop. And so anyway, the heat is on, and that's been our theme for the whole month of August. Believe it or not, this is the last day of August. So at midnight tonight, we start a new theme, which is, oh no, I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to wait till next week to find out what the theme for September is. Anyway, we've got a really great episode today. We're going to be talking about gum disease and how it can stimulate fat being deposited on your body. I've never seen anything in 43 years of being a dentist about obesity and periodontal disease together. But that's what we're going to be talking about. And then, of course, I always do a health tip at the end, which will be a little self-serving this week. But I've been using these the whole month. I'm going to miss them in the month of September. Hopefully, I'm not going to need them. I bought this on Amazon a couple of years ago. They're like under 20 bucks. It was $17.99 or something. It's got different speeds, and you can put it on a setting where it changes colors. And really, when I had it up on high a while ago, it really does cool you off. There you go. And it's battery powered, way cool. So anyway, I'm going to leave the colors on so they'll change every couple of seconds. But it's a simple little device like that that helps cool things down when the heat is on. Getting back to August, our theme, we tried to make a weekly deal about how to keep the heat on in your life, not temperature-wise, but health-wise and oral health-wise particularly. And so this is a particularly good theme today because researchers at the University of Tokyo Dental School just published in Science magazine an article where, now they did it in rats, not human beings. So there's a little bit of a mental jump here, but typically a lot of research on rats, they have very similar bodies to ours. In fact, almost exactly the same if you're talking about lawyers and rats. So anyway, they did research to find that they induced Porphyromonas gingivalis, P. gingivalis, which is infamous these days for the last several years because it's also found in the plaque in the brain in Alzheimer's patients, which of course they can't discover that until the person has deceased. And they sectioned brains and found this amyloid plaque in a specific area of the brain on the left hemisphere towards the back that was there in every Alzheimer's patient. And so they didn't understand how it's formed, but it's a sticky plaque kind of substance like what you find on your teeth if you haven't been brushing or it's been a long time since you've had your teeth cleaned. And the only other place that particular P. gingivalis bacteria is found, it's in the spirochete family, is in people with gum disease. So it's one of about 30 nasty bacteria types that are found in people that have gum disease or bleeding gums. So these researchers in Japan took P. gingivalis, injected it into mice, and found that it shut down the insulin production, and that if you don't have enough insulin in your system, insulin's kind of like an Uber driver. When you eat carbohydrates, they get broken down in your intestinal system, in your stomach and your small intestine, into glucose, which is blood sugar, and a couple other products depending on the carbohydrate that you're eating and whether it's refined or unrefined carbohydrate. We're getting into physiology there, but just to simplify it, if you just consider glucose as the passenger, insulin is the Uber driver that takes it to the cells, without insulin, that glucose or blood sugar can't get into your cells, which is where your energy comes from, particularly in muscle cells. Now, if you have a lot of glucose in your system and the insulin raises up to a point, but it has excess insulin, there aren't cells that need that glucose, it will store it in two places. In your liver as glycogen, which is very easily converted back to glucose, or it stores it as fat in your muscles, in your liver. You've heard people, especially people that are in a disease state, have a fatty liver. That's too much glycogen in their livers over the years of abuse, usually, or side effects of disease states. They store glycogen in their livers for so long that they have what they call a fatty liver. So anyway, the whole idea is that this porphyromonas gingivalis shut down the insulin production so that there was too much glycogen in the system, and almost like a diabetic state. So and they found that the rats got more fat deposited in their livers and even into their muscle tissue. So it's the first link that I've seen in 40 plus years of being a dentist where they're linking obesity potentially with porphyromonas gingivalis, so which is found in people with gum disease. And it's not 100%. Some people have gum disease caused by other bacteria, just like all other kind of bacteria. Some people are more susceptible, some people are more tolerant. So it's not an across the board that everybody with gum disease has high levels of P. gingivalis. But I can tell you that the people who do have high levels of P. gingivalis have severe gum disease. It's not a benign bacteria. It's fairly aggressive, and it tears up people's mouths if they're susceptible to P. gingivalis. So I think we're going to see more research in the future about this, about linking obesity and gum disease. So we look at it the other way. Hey, one more way to try to keep your body trim and healthy is to good oral health care. So keeping your teeth clean, taking good care of yourself. If you've got bleeding gums, if you've got any kind of issues like that, if it's been a while since you've had your teeth cleaned, we segue into my health tip. This is an easy one today, maybe a little self-serving, but go to the dentist, get your teeth cleaned. Stop that bleeding gums. If you're seeing blood when you're brushing, using a toothpick, or using dental floss, God forbid, then it's time for a dental appointment. So keep that in mind. Hope this has been helpful information, and I look forward to seeing you next week for the first version of Wisdom Wednesday in the month of September. See you then.